new day today and still plowing. Hoping that this will be the last time. I do need to go check the fields east, make sure that the wheat didn't get hailed on, but I do need to make sure that the ground didn't get hailed on, or else I need to plow that again. So met with the adjuster today, and our one farm in Old Glory got drought stress. It looks worse and worse. So you walk out there more with him and see, get to look at it with what he's saying. It's like, yeah, this is terrible. There's nothing here. So gonna get that. I won't harvest that for sure. There's nothing to bale either. There's just very little material out there, grain or straw for hay. And then this here around my parents' house, they got hailed on. You can't look at the wheat until at least a week to 10 days after the hail event. And there's a good reason for that. Hold on, let me turn around real quick. Like I was saying, there's a good reason why they make you wait that long, because immediately after the hailstorm, I thought, not so bad. I think we'll be okay. And then a little bit later, I looked at it, and it's like, maybe it's a little bit worse than I thought. And then today out there with them, it's like, man, a bunch of this is damaged. And so you start looking, and the stuff that was, it was still green when it was kinked over, but now that it's had a chance to dry and die, you see how much is actually on the ground. You see how many are bent over. And then the one thing that really stood out to me was, we know there's some bruising on those heads where it got hit. Sometimes the grain was missing, but there's a lot that you couldn't see until now, really even probably today, that those places where the hail hit the green seed head was starting to die out now. And so we didn't see that from before. And so you go out there, it's like, yeah, there's way less here than I thought, even so. And so some drought there's some seed heads that were real small that they would make much grain. There's not really any in there anyways. And then a lot of the better stuff was damaged or kinked over. So won't harvest that likely either. Calling around to see if somebody wants to bale it, would bale it. If it's good enough material to put it in a windrow. So far, I haven't found anyone to do that. So I'll keep trying. If not, at least we got stubble to hold the ground this year. Like all this stuff here, no wheat stubble to hold the ground. So benefit, that will make the cotton ground better for next year. But if I could get the seed out, then that would be a benefit. So I kept looking over my shoulder. You may think, what are you doing? The tractor's driving itself. That is true. However, this ground being so cloddy, those rolling baskets back there, I've had quite a bit of issues so far. I've had to stop, pick up, back up, but some clods will get in there and lock those baskets down. They'll just drag and create a trench instead of a mound. And so I have to stop. Most of the time I can stop and kind of press the brake to get it to like kind of lunge and release back, and that'll release the clod or the rock. And then I'll pick up, back up, reset, and it'll go on. Sometimes it's a rock or something that's in there tight. I got to go hammer it out. And sometimes it's a rock that gets between the basket and the frame. Those they're not even really jammed in there. You just got to go and move it because it's caught between a bolt and the basket. So anyways, that's what I got to look out for now, because if you don't check every once in a while, then you'll look back and you'll have a long section where that basket was just dragging and created a big trough there. So it was after lunch, and that's in the way. Just started kind of sprinkling. A cloud just popped up over to the east, and it's starting to kind of grow back this way. I don't know. It's moving away. It's moving this direction, so it's moving away, but kind of sprinkling right now. I don't think I'm going to get rained out at the moment, but it is kind of neat to see the rain kind of chasing you. And I mean, I can see it like right over there where it's kind of hazy. It's raining just right there. Maybe it'll build back towards us. We are getting things gone. That tree is no more. The old house that was over there is no more. So, man, I will not have to farm around these things anymore. I just finished plowing over at my parents' house, so think I'm done strip tilling. I may have to do some cleanup where they took that tree out. But getting dad's pickup moved over here, mom's picking me up so that we can move both tractors back over here. Dad's gonna plow some more turn rows over this part of the world, and I am going to do other things besides strip tilling for a while, which would be nice. Trying to figure out the hay situation still, trying to get somebody that can come and do all that, and so trying to get all that situated. I am going to service the 4555, get it up and going. Just need to get some stuff done in case I need to use it for doing the hay thing. I don't know. Stay tuned. All right, well, this is where the tree was. Now there is no tree. So people have already said, like, the old house was back over there. There's the people that live back at that house over there. They told mom and dad, I don't even know where I'm at. And so it's funny, the landmarks that we kind of have, and we don't really realize that we pay attention to them until they're gone. And so a lot of times when I'm plowing this middle section of this field, this tree kind of was close to halfway, so I kind of knew where I was. So yeah, it's kind of not sad at all, for sure, I can tell you that. There was obviously a tree, there was an old well, and like a concrete cistern, kind of square box. So I had to dig a bigger hole for that than I kind of would have thought. This is also the low area. Water runs along here, kind of behind it, so it'll be interesting. Hopefully this is far enough off of that where it won't erode what they buried. But yeah, old house covered and gone. That one had so much stuff that we're going to need to go through there and make sure that we pick up any trash, concrete, mesquite trees, different junk that didn't get buried very good over there. May have to do some of that at this old house there. But man, being super excited. I told Dad the other day, or yesterday, I told Dad earlier that he's got a well over at his house. Next to that's an old windmill, some old junk we need to clean that up. There's an old tree that we had pushed over that we just need to cut up. And then there's another old tree that we think we can push off where there's an old well. After all that is gone, there will be one thing to avoid in our fields, really, in the middle of the field, and that will be the well that Dad and Mom actually use. And that'll be awesome. No more having to avoid stuff, having to, the sprayer is the big one, having to spray around all these obstacles. So jacked up about that. In other news, these clouds are building behind me. I don't know. They're kind of going this direction and not this direction towards the cameras, which is what we want for rain. But it's definitely humid and hot enough where those days, I remember growing up walking out and just being drenched from changing sweeps, and like something's gonna happen today. It is miserably hot and humid. Today kind of feels that way, so keep you posted. So we're getting some rain. We do like the rain. We don't like the little white stuff that's kind of falling. Not too bad so far, but this is just the kind of beginning of this storm, so I don't know. Need the rain. Thankful for that. We'll see what happens. Yesterday and today have been so hot, like 100 degrees, and it's today's May. It's the first week of May, and they've been hot. Today, you just knew something was going to pop up with as hot as it was. So we're getting the rain. Don't like that noise. Well, last clip, we were getting some hail and some rain, thinking, here we go, we're about to get a bunch of rain. Not really. Not what you'd expect. They're at the house, got the more than anywhere else, 7/10 over 2 days. But watching the clouds on the radar, man, they were blowing through. It was like, man, this is going to be good. And then come out here to check stuff, and did 2/10 at the barn. My parents' house, like barely anything in the gauge. So kind of weird. It came in waves, like 6 different times. It's like, oh, this was it. We're gonna get some, and then again, the radar must have had a really high, whatever they call it, at the top of the cloud that picks up on the radar, showing that there was a big cloud, but it never really produced much rain. So some places got a lot. Some people got lots of hail too, but not us this time, but there's we're in a really active kind of pattern. It's been 100 degrees, mid 90s. You can just feel it. Today doesn't feel quite as humid as some of those other days, but then I just walk out and you feel like something's going to happen. So not yet, but we're sitting here what's today? May something, May 9th. I don't know, sometime around that time, around May, and we'll need to get some good rains before we plant cotton into May, first part of June. So that everybody's watching for that. Wheat's really turning right now. I'm out here at this. So the field that I planted the very first, that had some cattle grazed, it looks really good. It's had good rain. It'll be the first to cut, but this is the first that we planted after cotton, and so it's starting to turn a lot. But also it's pretty dry. It just has missed out on some of the rains. There's also two different varieties here, and so I'm coming out to see. I can see a difference for me. I don't know if you can see the difference in the two varieties behind me, but we've noticed a little bit of white capping on the top of the grain heads. On we think maybe it's just one variety. It'd be like, here's the seed head, and the bottom 2/3 is green, and the beards and the top part are kind of white blasted, like freeze damage or drought damage. And so wanted just to see if that's a problem, because we need to catch seed from one of these two varieties, and if the one has some issues with handling kind of some drought stress, then we don't want that. Okay, here's an example of what I'm talking about. Everything looks good here. This field doesn't have it near as much, but good all the way to and then there at the very top, it just never developed. I mean, there's nothing in there, so I don't, probably drought, but also it can freeze like that too. We seem to see it more on this. We've seen it more on this side of this variety than over there. I don't know. So need to make this decision. One, just need to know which variety we'd like to catch seed to plant for next year. The one over here that doesn't seem to have that kind of white top blasted to it as much, or at least it appears that it doesn't, is what we've planted more historically. This over here is new, and so want to see, looking at variety trials, this one over here seems to do better in a lot of areas. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. The issue I need to know though is what I have left is the stuff I probably don't want to keep for next year. I have that in the grain cart and in the grain drill, and I'm going to need all of my space open to be able to catch enough seed to plant all the acres I need to next year. So what I think is going to need to happen, I got about 250 bushels in one of the carts. I think I'm going to auger it into the grain truck so that we can take the truck to the elevator and sell it, so everything's empty. First though, whatever's in the grain drill, maybe 30 bushels or so in there, get that cleaned out also in the grain truck, and get the grain drill empty so that I have all my space open for all the acres I need to plant. I'd like to probably get some a grain bin or so at some point, but right now we're making do with the carts in the truck. Okay, I'm on the other end of the field. Here's another difference. Hopefully you can see right here the difference in the two varieties as well. Again, I know it's really drouthy and dry here, but this over here just doesn't seem to do. It's drying down faster, but it just doesn't seem to be handling the drought maybe as good as this variety over here. So, well, here's what you've missed. It's too hot to do much filming. Call it excuse, but truth, it's hot. Changed the oil, the engine oil, and sorry, I'll tell you about this in a second. Changed the engine oil and the fuel filter and engine filter on the 4555. So just finished that. I got hooked up to our new to us camper. We got that a while back, and we have a cousin getting married, and it's cheaper for us to stay in that than to get a hotel room. So we're gonna do that again. That's been fun. It's been different. I've not done anything like that. We didn't grow up doing that, but Emily did. So the boys are jacked up, and so getting that home. in case it does rain, because it seems like the trend is, look around, there are clouds building almost every night, afternoon, and so if we get any kind of rain around the barn, I won't be able to get that out. So got it out, take it home, and we'll get it ready to go. What I'm going to do next now, what I will show you, is why I have this cotton mop. $2 mop from Walmart. This trailer that I bought a while back, I want to put something on this the surface to try to keep it from lasting longer. And that thing I'm going to do is old engine oil, which I just so happen to change and have. Well, I actually have another 5-gallon bucket in there from a different change from this tractor. And so seems like a perfect time to do this since I'm already kind of dirty and oily. We'll see how well I'm sure this is really dry. I think it'll soak it up really well. And hopefully it'll protect. I've seen that it does a really good job of protecting the wood. We've changed the wood on our utility trailer before, even getting like pressure treated pine, and it just cracks and splits. I mean, you guys know that. So we'll see how this goes. Soaked it up pretty quick. There's some spots where I was a little thicker. I'd like to get in kind of in these cracks between if I can, so I'll probably do another coat maybe here in a little bit because it's soaking it up pretty quick. I'm also leaving behind some of this cotton from the mop, which what are you gonna do? It's $2. I got plenty of oil left. All right, good morning. Didn't get any rain last night after I finished coating the trailer with that oil. Ended up doing 2 coats. I'm afraid I may have to do 3 or more. It's soaking, I probably put in 2 or 2.5 gallons of that oil. It just was soaking it up, so dry. But no rain. But came out here to check this wheat, and it's really turned a ton. Still a little bit of green. And also, I knew we had got a decent amount of rain here. So 1.5 inches. This happened, today is Tuesday. This happened late Saturday, so maybe a little bit more than that. But yeah, I'm assuming it's probably going to be wet inside in the wheat, just because it's got a canopy there, even with it being warm. But hopefully by the time it dries out enough, then this wheat will be dry enough to combine. Only this field will be ready. Our other stuff is still green. Okay, so I'm spraying around some telephone poles and different things in the field, just kind of piddling. And remember I told you that there were crawfish in our fields? They're always down there. They come up and they make their little mud houses, and even in the driest years they're down there, and then they'll just come up when the water stands. I have proof. Look right here. I'm literally next to the county road and our wheat field, and there's a dead one. I'm gonna try to take it home and show my kids. I've got it in the little toolbox, whatever you call it, in the back of the four-wheeler. Try to take it home. I did drop it, broke his other arm off, but thought my kids might think it's cool. Didn't ask me the other day, are there really crawfish in the field? So now I have proof.